IQ below 70. Intellectual disability. This is the lowest range of measurable cognitive ability. Reading is difficult. Abstract reasoning is limited. Complex language processing rarely develops fully. Symbolic tasks become overwhelming. Numbers, grammar, long instructions. The brain struggles with symbols and sequences. Often the wiring never fully developed. Maybe genetic, maybe a complication at birth, maybe an infection before age 2. The world is processed mostly through the present moment. What is visible? What is audible? What is happening right now? Planning ahead is difficult. Imagining distant consequences, understanding metaphor, thinking abstractly. These rarely come naturally. But one assumption about this level is wrong. Emotional perception is often strong. Tone of voice is noticed quickly. Facial expressions are noticed quickly. The emotional atmosphere of a room is felt immediately. With stable routines and patient support, many people here form deep relationships. Lives that are limited in ability, but still meaningful. IQ 70 to 79, borderline. Most people in this range function independently, but school often felt like pushing against a wall. Reading develops slowly. Math becomes difficult once it moves beyond simple operations. Abstract explanations disappear unless they are demonstrated. This range sits in an awkward gap, not low enough for extensive support systems, not high enough for academic environments built on abstract thinking. Something else is rarely mentioned. This range is heavily overdiagnosed in low-income populations. Early childhood stress, malnutrition, no books in the home, little stimulation during critical brain development. The brain did not fail. It was never properly fed. Many of these diagnoses are environmental, not genetic. People here often learn best through experience, not theory. They value stability, loyalty, routine, consistency, qualities modern economies rarely reward. IQ 80 to 89, low average. Learning is possible, but repetition is required. Instructions work best when they are clear and structured. Difficulty appears when independent judgment is required. Multi-step reasoning becomes the barrier. Understanding contracts, financial systems, long chains of cause and effect. These can be challenging. Most work labeled unskilled labor sits in this range. The work is necessary, very necessary, but the pay rarely reflects that reality. IQ 90 to 109, average. Most people live here, and most people believe they are above it. Average intelligence runs the machinery of civilization. Reading, writing, planning, problem solving, learning from mistakes, holding conversations, raising families, building homes, running businesses. Teachers, nurses, drivers, technicians, managers, builders, caregivers. Most of the functioning world comes from this range. But there is a subtle trap. Average intelligence is comfortable, smart enough to feel confident, not always sharp enough to question that confidence. Many people stop intellectual growth here, not because they cannot grow, but because life already works. IQ 110 to 119, above average. Cognitive speed becomes noticeable. Patterns appear faster. Flaws in plans become visible earlier. Arguments can be predicted before they finish. The challenge becomes social. Conversations move slower than thought. Mistakes appear obvious before others notice them. So people here often self-edit. They hold ideas back just to keep conversations smooth. James Watson, co-discoverer of the DNA double helix, had an estimated IQ around 115. Not the number people expect for one of the most important discoveries of the 20th century. What mattered was something else. Connecting the right ideas with the right people at the right moment. The number is never the whole story. IQ 120 to 129, superior. This is roughly the top 10% of the population. Complex systems become easier to understand. Ideas from different fields begin to connect. Strategic thinking appears more clearly. 3 moves ahead in conversations, in negotiations, in problems. Learning accelerates. Subjects that require years for many people can be absorbed much faster. University environments often begin to feel comfortable here. Fields like engineering, medicine, research, and analytical professions frequently draw heavily from this range, but speed creates distance. Thinking moves quickly, sometimes faster than conversations can keep up. IQ 130 to 144, gifted, roughly 2% of the population. Learning becomes qualitatively different. Concepts are not only memorized, they are examined from the inside. Structures become visible, weaknesses become visible, hidden assumptions become visible. Gifted minds often show intense curiosity and strong sensitivity to inconsistency or injustice. But this level often brings psychological challenges, perfectionism, isolation, early awareness of difficult ideas, mortality, meaning, existence, ideas childhood was not designed to carry. Irene Joly-Curie likely sat in this range. Nobel Prize in Chemistry, 1935. Her mother, Marie Curie, won 2 Nobel Prizes. One family, one generation apart. That is what this level can look like when properly supported. IQ 145 to 159, highly gifted. Here the mind begins restructuring problems, not just solving them. Instead of applying known methods, entirely new approaches appear. Historical figures often estimated in this range include Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton. Curiosity becomes relentless. Focus becomes intense. Ideas move faster than institutions can support. When the environment is right, people in this range can transform entire fields. IQ 160 to 179, genius. Genius is not just faster thinking, it is persistence with impossible questions, remaining with a problem long enough for it to break open. Entire theories can emerge from that persistence. Albert Einstein spent 10 years developing general relativity. 10 years. Not pure calculation, but tolerance for unresolved questions. The ability to hold contradictions in mind for years without abandoning the problem. A tolerance many minds cannot sustain. At this level, intellectual loneliness becomes common. The conversations a genius needs often don't exist yet. Recognition often arrives late, sometimes generations later. IQ 180 and above, extremely rare. Individuals appear far beyond measurable ranges. One example often cited is William James Sidis. At 18 months, he read the New York Times. At 6, he spoke 8 languages. At 8, he invented a language and built a logarithm table in base 12. At 11, he lectured Harvard's Mathematics Club on 4-dimensional geometry. MIT professor Daniel Comstock said Sidis resembled only one historical prodigy, Carl Friedrich Gauss. Sidis graduated Harvard at 16. Then he disappeared, changed his name, worked simple jobs operating adding machines, moved cities whenever people recognized him. He died in 1944, age 46, alone in Boston. Estimated IQ between 250 and 300. No standardized test ever measured it, and his life reveals something important. Extreme intelligence does not guarantee a fulfilling life. Cognitive potential is only the beginning. Environment matters, personality matters, emotional stability matters, human connection matters. Final reality. IQ measures specific abilities, pattern recognition, abstract reasoning, mental processing speed. It predicts academic success reasonably well. Beyond that, its power fades. 2 people with the same IQ can build completely different lives. The number describes the capacity of a mind. What someone builds with that capacity, that's the real story.